I'll take you back to the beginning. It's probably the easiest. I was at Glastonbury Festival. I went every year. My mum is the most amazing, caring woman. She would message me constantly, are you drinking enough water? What bands are you going to see? Where are you? What are you doing? Always checking on me. I heard nothing from her that year. I was at Glastonbury and I thought, I'll just have a good time, I'll talk to her on Monday. There is something wrong with your father. When she said that, I thought, this is something serious. I knew in my gut that it was something serious because there was nothing ever wrong with my dad. It was a period of time where we really just didn't know what was going on. And during this time, I had obviously made the decision to move back in with my mum because we decided, she needed help. And, from that point of him leaving work, I left work as well. And I kind of just went from daughter to carer overnight, really. His speech started to slur at this point. And it got to the stage where it was test after test after test, what's going on? He was saying, I'm fine, I'm just stressed. The doctor said he'd been travelling for work. He went to Poland and South America, and they said, oh, he's picked up a virus. He's got a virus. And I remember saying to the GP once, this is not a virus. Something's going on here. Every time he tried to talk, he would choke. And it got to the point where he couldn't even swallow his own saliva because every time he did that, he'd choke. So he just actually spit it out. And we tried so many different ways of feeding. They actually told us that having a peg feed, so a tube fitted so that we could feed him through his stomach, was actually probably more traumatic for him than we would want to put him through. So we decided against that, and we tried lots of different varying methods of feeding. And we had all the equipment brought in, so the lounge was then a hospital room basically. We had the hospital bed, we had ramps fitted because he was in a wheelchair. And it's just, there is nothing that I would not have done for him. I've been lucky enough not to see horrific things happen, but to a human being, to watch that happen to their body, for them to essentially just shut down day by day, I couldn't get his socks on or something. And I would just look at him and I would think, not that long ago, you were running your business and you were living your life and looking after your family, and you were the man of this house, and now I can't put your sock on and it's killing me. And because he couldn't tell us anything, we didn't know what we were doing, whether it was right or not. But the one thing he always used to do is put his thumb up. He used his thumb up until the last day that he was alive, and it was his sign of, I'm okay. And for us, it was the only communication we got from him in the end. Motor neurone disease affects the nerves in the brain and spinal cord, basically. And essentially, it will stop the messages from the brain reaching the muscles. So your muscles will start to weaken and wasten and basically stop working. If a loved one is diagnosed, or you're diagnosed yourself, there is such a lack of information. There was just no answers for anyone. And I've scrolled through websites night after night trying to find answers, but the problem is that everyone experiences the disease differently. So you can have different symptoms, you can have a mix of all the symptoms, you might not have all the symptoms, you might just have one or two. To watch a loved one go through it and to watch what the body can do to you it's just not something that I ever want anyone else to ever have to go through. I just felt this sense of relief, someone is helping us. We're not on our own. We thought he would come home. And the phone rang, and it was Dorothy House, and they said, we think he's taken a turn. He's not looking great. He was just lying there, and I was just watching his chest, and I was just thinking, I don't want this disease to hurt you anymore. This is so horrific, and you shouldn't have to be going through this, and I just don't want this to happen to you anymore. And my mum said to me, do you want to be in here for this? Do you want to be in the room? And I thought about it, and I thought, maybe he doesn't want me here. I had this sudden feeling that he just wanted it to be him and my mum, and he didn't want me to see that. And I'm 100% sure that that is what happened, because my mum came down a little bit later and was like, yeah, he's gone. My grief was basically channeling that energy into fundraising, because it was the only way that I could fight back against MND. It was the only thing I could do. I couldn't give him any treatment. I couldn't make his life longer. I couldn't make it much better for him. I just had to fight back against it. And once MND takes someone that you really, really love, you just feel so cross. And I've spoken to other people who've been in the same position, and we all sort of feel the same about it. It's like there's not enough answers, there's not enough knowledge, there's not enough research, and there's not enough awareness, and we have to do something about it. So that's really, my grief kind of turned into putting that energy into fundraising and creating awareness, and that's sort of what it's like. I feel like it's my purpose now. It's instilled in me that I have to fight back against it and try and help other people. And that's really where my fundraising journey began. And then the latest campaign, which is the MND Tee, is something that I am so passionate about that I just want to grow it as much as possible and try and help as many people as possible. Probably took me a couple of years to kind of get to the point where I was comfortable talking about the nitty gritty. And I did spend a couple of years getting my shit together. And you always think that you're not going to get through these things, but you do, and it just makes you the person that you are. And it's not easy. It's hard, it's shit, it's tough, and that's the thing. If anyone speaks to me about, okay, my dad's just been diagnosed, or my mum's been diagnosed, or someone that I know, the only thing that I can say is this is going to be really, really shit and hard, but you will get through it, and that person will always be with you. My dad is always with me. If I'm having a really down day, or oh, I can't do this, or I don't feel confident in this, I almost feel him being hey, you can do this.